Oh. Hello, everyone. We are going to start a little bit early today because we have quite the packed house. Welcome to Bloomington Rotary Club's weekly annual service, celebration of service, I should say. I'm Tracy Ivanovich, and I'm honored to serve as your president. I was just told that my new nickname is Deuce. That sounds pretty cool. So Deuce, because this is my second term. Please silence your electronic devices. And on that, we have quite a few guests in the house today, and for some reason it's not working, Tyler. Actually, I can probably do it from. Okay, so I thought I'd go with the theme of UFO because we talked about all these aliens and the files have been released and there's so much excitement about it. So I thought when I looked at guests, we have guests from all over. You never know who they might be. We have two quick updates. Instead of doing Where in the World today, I've asked Dwight Thompson from our Bedford Club to come up and get Brown County, sorry. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I was going south instead of north. From Brown County to come up and give us an update on global scholars. So, Dwight.
All right, good afternoon, and thanks, Tracy. All right, so I'm trying my best to fill Jim Bright's shoes as the chair for the Rotary, All Indiana Rotary Global Scholarship Program. And just as a brief update, our 26-27 cycle is nearing completion. Christian Gray is our candidate for this year. He is going to be heading over to Amsterdam, to University of Amsterdam, mid-August. And Christian is from Indianapolis, so he's going to fly the 6560 flag for All Indiana. Let's see. And just a brief update, too, on some of our other scholars. Our 24-25 Rotary Global Scholar was Noah Jager. He is currently in Georgia in military. He will be discharged in January and is making prep now for heading off to law school. So he's studying for his LSAT, getting ready for that. And let's see, I also wanted to give a brief update on our 21-22 Global Scholar, Cameron Davidson. Cameron is working as a congressional aide for Representative Morgan McGarvey in Louisville. Sue Wright, past district governor, and I met with Cameron about 2 weeks ago. Took him out to lunch, had a talk, and we're doing a little arm twisting to get him back engaged with the Rotary program and the Rotary Club in Jeffersonville. We're kicking off prep for the 27-28 scholarship year, and right now just confirming that we've got funding from all of our 3 districts to make that program happen. And then I'm going to shift hats a little bit and talk about our Peace Fellowship. Talked with Judy Witt a little earlier today, and Annabelle Watson is District 6580's very first Rotary Peace Fellowship applicant. That application is getting cranked through the mill in Evanston, and hopefully we'll know something before the end of the year as to whether or not she has received that. So, Tracy, thank you.
It's always wonderful to hear about how the students that we've helped make their way turn out, what they're doing, and how they're adding and creating value in the world. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you for all that you do in driving it. Next, we have from even further than Brown County, we have JT Waring here to share with us the updates on the Myanmar project, all the way from California on his annual hiatus out here.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm very, very thankful not to have been introduced as a mystery Rotarian or an alien. Yes, we are from California. We plead guilty to that. But this is my hometown from 6 generations on both sides. So very grateful to be back here. And of course, we brought this weather with us. So give us full credit. Very, very briefly, as some of you know, we began a project on Rotary behalf 21 years ago, originally in Myanmar, to build water management systems for first orphanages, Christian orphanages, and then Buddhist monasteries, and then ultimately villages. The play has been villages in recent years because you get more bang for buck. The systems that we had designed for Rotary, for us, better adapts to a larger number of people. We have cumulatively built a total of 76 systems in Myanmar since 2006. There are 5 more that we just completed in April, May. I just came back on the 28th of May, and there'll be 3 more in the fall for a grand total of 84 in that country. In the meanwhile, we have rebranded and refocused because of need, demand, and capability. The project's reach from just Myanmar to Southeast Asia. It is now the Rotary Southeast Asia Communities Water Management Systems Project. And if you can say that in one breath, we'll put a gold star on your forehead. We're very proud of what's happening. The Philippines, as some of you may know, is a very powerfully Rotarian country. In fact, we laugh about the fact that Rotarians basically own the Philippines. We have 2 long-established dollar billionaires who are key players over there, and we've got to deal with a lot of bureaucracy and so forth, but we've got 3 systems already underway or about to be underway to be built, we hope, within 2026 in that country. And we have plans to go for a global grant and probably another one after that. The Philippines is an immense demand need situation. There are 7,600 islands, not all of which are occupied, but a good many of them are. A population of 120 million people. It is the only Christian nation in Southeast Asia. It is the only one that has at least a predominance of English-speaking citizens in the country, which makes it easier for us to do our thing over there. And I think that ultimately Rotary, which has really seized on, they have christened us the Water Warriors. And there's already been a beautiful song, which I wish we had time to play today. Maybe next year, if we're back and you guys will give us more than 3 minutes of fame, we'll play it, because it's a very good song. It's amazing. You know, the Filipinos are very talented musically anyway, and this is a great piece of work. In any case, we are in those 2 countries. We will continue in Myanmar because the hottest Rotary Club, the Rotary Club of Central Yangon, has pushing 100 members already and is still growing. It's like Bloomington, with leadership similar to what you have here. And that will be a line of succession. We are looking seriously at Cambodia. We did a demonstration system there, and soon perhaps also Laos. Finally, before I get the cane around my neck and get pulled unceremoniously off the stage, I just want to pay tribute to my beloved friend and Rotary mentor, Jim Bright. I'm so glad to see you here today, because you said you weren't going to be. This guy has been so valuable as a leader for me. Thank you, Jim. And thank you, Madam Bacon.
And they said it couldn't be done, JT. That's amazing. It's so great to hear about all the work that we do as a club, around the country, not just here in the U.S., not just here in Bloomington. So thank you for that. As Hank is coming up, before you put that bite in, you're doing the guest introductions. Oh, Steve is doing, okay, we're pulling a switch up here. That's all right. We're flexible. We can do that. I just wanted to, while you're coming up, I wanted to thank Kaki Gerard, who is the incoming president of Zionsville, for joining. And she shared a flag with us and we shared a flag with her. So thank you for joining us. Steve, if you'll, and good luck. There's a lot of names.
Well, it's a pleasure to have so many guests here today, and I would ask it as I call each of your names if you would stand up so we can tell who you really are. So I'm going to start here with Henry Woolen. He's a guest of Elaine Barker. Henry? There he is. Okay. Richard Gupta, guest of Jim Bright. Chip. Well, there he is. Okay. Next is Dwight Thompson. He's the Brown County Rotary, from Brown County Rotary, and he's also the District Global Scholarship Chair. Dwight? All right. Next is Kaki Gerard, guest of our speaker from Zionsville Rotary. And then we have Patricia Cox, who's guest of David Meyer. Patricia? All right. Well, we've got a lot. Still not finished. Got John Skolak from the Chamber of Commerce. All right, John. Christopher MG, I'm sorry, also from the Chamber of Commerce.
No, he's not here.
Hmm?
That's okay. He's not here.
Oh, he's not here.
Yeah.
Well, all right. And then JT Waring, guest of the club. JT? Yeah. And Naylin Tut. Yeah, Naylin Tut, guest of JT Waring. Nayla? Okay. And last but not least, Yuvo, guest of Sandy Keller.
Oh, they didn't make that.
Hmm?
That's good.
That it?
That's it.
Okay.
All right. That was a lot of guests. It's awesome. It's great to see so many great faces out there. Now, there we go. The birthdays and anniversaries. So we have Amy Gust on the 17th, Paul Hazel on the 14th, and Dr. Rotich on the 17th. All have birthdays coming up. And then for anniversaries, none this period. And then for announcements. All right. Hoosier Hills Food Bank, where's David? Do we still need signups? Or Michelle, we still need, so it'd be the 12 to 2 slot. We still need a couple of people to sign up. So don't be shy. It's a lot of fun. Just a quick announcement. Mike Baker went in for a TVR, heart valve replacement on 7/7, and it went well. He had a minor stroke. He's fine. He's recovering. But I wanted to share that with the club. Your thoughts and prayers. Keep him in mind. He's doing very well. I talked to him this morning. And then as another announcement, just so you're aware, Lance Eberly's nephew, Stephanie's nephew, he passed away. So keep them in your prayers as well. And then we have a board meeting on this Thursday. It's always open if anybody wants to come at the library. Very exciting. And then lastly, I just wanted to share that on the Ignite app, which we talked about last week, I shared 2 pictures from it. And I shared 3 different phone numbers for people who called me asking for somebody's phone number. So use the Ignite app. I'm going to keep hitting you on that. All right. Everybody should have received an email on Meals with Matt. The district is going to be creating a cookbook that's a collection of all of our recipes across the district. Don't know the cost yet because we don't know how many recipes will be, and we don't know how many people will be wanting to buy them. So once we get the costs, we'll let you know, but you should have the forms. If not, it will be linked on the roundabout so that you can get the recipe form. It's very specific as to how you fill it out, and the directions are going to be on the roundabout as well. I think that's actually a pretty cool idea to see what everybody's favorites are. And Meals on Wheels. I don't know if anybody knows this character in the yellow shirt there. All I can say is Winston, aka Dad, and Art. I hope Dad was driving, given Art's abilities there. But nice job, and thank you for And thank you for taking care of that on Meals and Wheels. It's greatly appreciated. And then from a Teachers Warehouse event, let's just take a moment. 9,610 products were collected. What I love particularly about this is that it is a team effort across all of the Bloomington clubs, Martinsville, and Bedford. We all work together, and everybody, if you haven't worked it, it's so much fun. Everybody is gracious and supportive when you tell them what we're doing. And that's evident by the number of products that we received, as well as the $1,700 in cash that we got. And there were 28 people that volunteered. So thank you to everyone who did a part of that. It matters. And as you know, Teachers Warehouse is near and dear to us. And with that, I would like to ask that Steve Engel, Ed Ryan, and Steve Wicks come up to perform an induction for a new member.
We need to get closer together, Tyler, so people online can see us. Okay. Ed Ryan, on behalf of the board and membership of the Bloomington Rotary Club, it is great pleasure to welcome you as the newest member of our club. We look forward to the fellowship that we will share, as well as your participation in club projects that make our club, community, and world a better place. Though the Rotary is not a political organization, Rotarians are vitally concerned with good citizenship and the election of effective leaders to public office. While Rotary is not a religious organization, it is built on those highest principles that have served as a moral compass for people throughout the ages. Rotary is an organization of business, professional, and community leaders pledged to uphold the highest ethical and moral standards. Rotarians believe that worldwide fellowship and peace can be achieved when people work together and uphold the Rotary motto of service above self. Rotary activities exemplify the partnership, respect, and generosity that one would expect from people who believe that they have a responsibility to help others. Ed, you have been chosen for membership in the Bloomington Club because your fellow members believe you to be a leader in our community and because you possess the qualities to champion the message and principles of Rotary. You are a representative of your vocation and talent within our club and community. You have now become an ambassador of Bloomington Rotary, carrying the ideals of service to all within your sphere of influence. Our community will know and judge Rotary by your character and service. We will also look to you for inspiration as we strive to become better Rotarians. We will now pin you with the distinguishing badge of a Rotarian, your Rotary pin.
Put it up here, I guess. It's a tough collar there is. Yeah.
Yeah, just hand it to him.
Go ahead and hand it to him if you want to, Steve, unless you've got it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay.
Is there any bleeding?
Not yet.
Okay.
There you go.
We ask that you wear your Rotary pin with pride in your many endeavors, and that as a symbol of our recognition of your contribution towards a better world through your Rotary membership. Fellow Rotarians, please rise if you are able, and welcome our newest Rotarian, Ed Ryan.
Thank you.
Right. And now just a quick picture. I think Jonas is our
Here, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome, welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So we're doing flexibility here. This is a demonstration of flexibility. Just a little bit about Ed Ryan. He was born in Yonkers, later came to Bloomington, Indiana when he was transferred by Otis Elevator. That move became the start of a long and meaningful connection with both Bloomington and IU. Ed worked for Otis Elevator for 43 years, holding a variety of executive and operational leadership positions. His responsibilities include serving as Director of Operations for facilities in Bloomington, Connecticut, Boston, and Nogales, Mexico. After retiring from Otis, he continued to consult for the elevator industry for another 10 years. While working full-time, he earned 3 degrees from IU, because you weren't busy enough, I guess. An undergraduate degree in business, an MBA, and a law degree. He considers IU and Bloomington central parts of his personal and professional life. He's also been deeply involved in community service. He served as an active CASA volunteer for 20 years and remains involved with the organization. He served on nonprofit boards, including Life Designs, United Way Boy Scouts, and Dollars for Scholars, and is now retired at Meadowood in Bloomington. He and his late wife, Jan, were married for 64 years. Jan recently passed away, and Ed continues to honor the life they built together. He has 2 sons, each of whom has 2 sons, giving him 4 grandsons. So, Ed, we're thrilled to have you as a part of the club. And with that, I will ask Alon to come up and introduce our guest.
Thank you, President Tracy. It's great to see you all. For those of you who have French ancestry, happy 14th. It's Bastille Day in France, and go bleu, whatever it is, the French team, right? They're going to be in the World Cup. Les Bleus. Merci, monsieur. Exactement. So I have one quick announcement here, and that is that Dwight brought me this absolutely fabulous brochure. This is for Chamberfest Brown County, happening in August. It's a project that I've watched grow and evolve, and it really is tied into the theme of today's conversation about innovation. And this is innovation in the arts. They're doing an absolutely fabulous job. So I have a brochure here for you to look at if you'd like to see it. With that, I would like to introduce a very good friend, somebody who's become very important to me in my work at Indiana University in the entrepreneurship space. As you well know, I run the entrepreneurship program in the Jacobs School of Music. And since our guest, Julie Heath, has been here, she has amped up and really sort of revitalized so much of what's happening across the IU Bloomington and also Indiana University across the state in terms of innovation thinking, entrepreneurial projects, creating the most incredible hub that she will tell you about. So I'm just going to quickly introduce her by reading her bio quickly here. This is an abbreviated bio because she has done an extraordinary number of things in her life already. She's the inaugural executive director of IU Innovates, a university-wide initiative to support and accelerate entrepreneurship through student-led startup hubs, sponsorship of IU entrepreneurship resources, and impact storytelling. And you'll see that on your tables, there's a great example of what that storytelling is all about. Between 2021 and 23, Julie developed the state of Indiana's first entrepreneurship ecosystem strategy. This was prior to her coming to Indiana University, which included developing new economic impact data and a statewide system of resource navigation. And so not only has she been helping IU, but she's really activated Indiana as a state. She's held leadership roles in 2 tech startups, a regional entrepreneur support organization in advancing manufacturing. This is interesting. She began her career at the Smithsonian Institution, launching innovation initiatives such as the Lunda Conservation Center. I should mention that Julie is a visual artist as well. So please help me welcome Julie to the table. Yeah.
You outed me as an artist. I'm told that this lav mic will pick up in a moment here, so let me know if you can hear me. Can I get a thumbs up? Great. Want to make sure, especially in the back of the room. I will try to be mindful of the camera, but I'd love for you to just make sure you grab a copy if you would like to follow along. Many of the stories I'm about to tell are in this book or a prior year's book. And I will also mention a few products of our student entrepreneurs along the way. So if I have to drop down here for a moment to grab them, bear with me. Let's start with the story. Many of our student entrepreneurs don't know that they're entrepreneurs. And yet they're solving really big, hard problems. Let me introduce you to Annalise, who you see on the screen. I met Annalise at the Eskenazi School in her capstone project in the Comprehensive Design Program. And the problem she was solving is, how might we take single-use plastics and encapsulate them in building materials, in construction materials? So what you can't see very well behind her is her poster of her capstone project, and what she's holding are these prototypes of concrete blocks. So think of driving along a highway, and there's that sound barrier wall that is assembled with blocks. This is what she was looking at, and she was asking, why is it that these companies who make these blocks create the plastic from scratch? It seems like we have plenty of this plastic floating in our oceans and put into our landfills. Why can't we use that? So her series of testing was all about shredding different pieces of bottles and other similar plastics, even from textiles, to ask, could we use that instead? Now, I was so excited about her energy and the way she was asking, how might we solve this very big challenge with single-use plastics in a useful way? That's called a circular economy, when you take a piece of trash and you put it back in as an input into a new product. And I was ready to text her an introduction to someone who was about to leave the Heritage Group. Has anyone here heard of the Heritage Group? It's one of the largest privately held companies in Indiana. It's a group of construction material companies. And I knew someone who had led the ventures group and the accelerator there. And she was ready, she was an angel investor, and she was ready to make investments in women entrepreneurs in circular economy startups. And I thought, here we go. I'm going to get this graduating student a $5,000 or a $10,000 check to keep working on this project. And I asked her a business-related question. I asked her a go-to-market question, and her face shifted from being this really dynamic, excited problem solver to just a straight face. And I tried to de-jargon it, no business language, but I was asking a go-to-market question. And she said, to her credit, I know I should probably be able to answer your question, but I'm not sure what you're asking. And so I put my phone down, I walked over to her professor, and I said, does she not know she's an entrepreneur and she could get an investment check probably today to keep working on that project that's worth solving? And he said, nope. And I thought, great. I know what I'm doing here at Indiana University. We are going to go ahead and support the student entrepreneurs from any major, any school, and ultimately any campus in this entrepreneurial journey. But our first step was to create a framework to understand this learning journey. So we started prototyping. We cut out pictures of our students and the problems they were solving. We put them on a very big whiteboard that goes the length of the building, and we started moving them around as they were picking up skills. And that morphed into the chart that is here. And if you flip to the inside of the front cover of this book, you'll find the front cover folds out. And that is a version of this chart, but with more explanations on the bottom in terms of what these skill sets are that our students learn. To make it brief, first you learn how to scope a problem space, a really big problem, and then you figure out how to narrow it down to a very specific problem that you want to attack. Next, you learn how to do that first prototype. Maybe it's a napkin drawing or a Figma drawing, or maybe you have Claude or another AI tool do the drawing. But then you learn how to talk to people. You learn how to talk to a lot of people who care about that problem, who want to see that problem solved. And you get to iterate that prototype until it becomes an MVP, a minimum viable product that you can test with real users. So, for example, one of our students, Brian, he was a freshman when he came to us, he cared very much about doing an energy drink that had a safer form, a healthier form of caffeine. And so this is his MVP. This is the first version. You can buy it around Bloomington. He has it out there. He wants to hear back from you. He wants to know, what do you think? What do you like about it? How do you feel after drinking it? Is it different from the other energy drinks or coffee or some other caffeinated beverage that you've had? And when someone buys the product. Whether it's Annalise's construction block because she has figured out how to go to market with a construction company, or a beverage, or maybe it's the group that runs the Little 500 and they're looking for a new type of bib for their athletes. This is Gage's minimum viable product. And you'll see at the Little 500 this upcoming year, the athletes wearing this new bib. It's a type of adhesive, so no more pins. It's much more durable and easier to use. So step 2, I had to find the students who are solving problems worth solving, because that's what I care about the most. I want to know that you are intrinsically motivated to solve a problem because you care about that space. So I hired them. I found them first. Nimish was working on using invasive species of fish and their skins for wounds and bandages on wounds, specifically burn wounds. She had figured out during her research that fish skin have a certain type of property that's useful in wound healing. And I thought, that sounds like an interesting problem. Jack, down on the bottom right, he was learning to cook in his mom's kitchen when he was in high school, and he was I think he was tearing apart a chicken or something, and his hands were a mess and everything was a mess. And he went to try to open the trash can and he thought, I wish I had something that I could use for my foot to open the trash can that was embedded in the counter. And so what he's holding there is the handless handle, and you can buy that on Amazon now. But at the time, I think he was a sophomore. So I catch these students very early in their journey. Oh, let me tell you about a few more who I found. Matthew, who's a master's student now, he's becoming a counselor, and he's at the School of Education. He asked, how might we build a technology for therapists so that patients can do things between therapy practices or therapy sessions that will keep them on track? Charlie, here's another one from Jacobs. Charlie was a middle school band teacher, and she found that her middle school band students did a lot better with their learning if they could work with music that was familiar to them. So she was building a platform for other a technology for other band teachers. Then I hire them. This is the core of IU Innovates. As you heard in the introduction, these are student-led programs. We find that if we hire students to lead groups of students, they learn better. And what's really nice is that also they build the community that they want. They understand what they want to do, like you are doing here with each other, right? It matters to convene and work together on something that you care about and support each other. They build the programs that they need. Eli, one of our other early community managers, I didn't know that we needed a co-founder matchmaking program, but he did. So he put it together as one of our programs. And they create a learning experience that resonates with their peers. That's Parker. Parker was trying to learn guitar, and he thought, there's got to be a way for me to practice with other people, even if I don't have other people around. So his technology is about being able to practice his guitar with colleagues who aren't actually there. So he has an app that he's out there piloting right now. And they create a safe space. And you can't read this, so I'll read it for you. Nabil is presenting a slide there where he's talking about how he learned a hard thing and he had to pivot. He had to change directions, and it says some ideas were worse than others. Nabil cared about not spending so much money on cologne. He thought, this is silly that cologne doesn't last longer. And so he came up with a lotion that you put on your skin before you apply the perfume or the cologne, and it makes the smell last longer and you don't use as much. It's a problem he cared about solving. And he's gotten to the point where he has a real product and you can buy it. So some of the problems are big, some of the problems are small, but the students care about helping each other solve problems. And here's the best part. After they go through that boot camp that Parker built, because he knows what students will pay attention to, That's when they can move into the incubator, and the incubator is made up of these founders groups. So think about the table you're sitting at. If you had all of your peers around this group and you had someone who was leading your group who was just 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, that's what matters most. Because here's the secret. The 19-year-olds, they listen to the 21-year-olds. And the 21-year-olds remember what it was like to be 19. None of us in this room can remember with fidelity what it was like to be 19 on a day-to-day basis, but the 21-year-olds can. Which is why this incubator allows us to scale. Would anyone like to guess how many students were in our incubator last semester? We had 125, and yet we did have 295 come through the front door and participate in our boot camp. And then in some cases, 125 ended up in our incubator. You can't serve that many people unless you break it down into small groups and you have these near peer leaders. It's also what allows us to create goals around how we move people through this journey. And then we celebrate. We celebrate the big milestones. We convene. We brought a group of 100 delegates, student entrepreneurs, faculty, staff. Alon's in there somewhere, I think, to the Global Entrepreneurship Congress. And we had 20 of our students do demonstrations of their products, of their solutions, of their companies. That's Mark Cuban up in the top right-hand corner. Mark Cuban, one of our most famous alumni entrepreneurs, was the keynote. And at this Global Entrepreneurship Congress, where we had over 3,000 people from 140 countries with, I think it was 71 ministers of innovation from around the world, our students got to show what they are building and what problems they are solving and how they help each other do it. So I'm going to give you a few examples. Here's one of my favorites, because again, a problem we're solving came from Alex and Ben. Alex and Ben played sports together in high school, including ice hockey. Ben took a hit, didn't know that he had been hit as hard as he did. He didn't know, his other teammates didn't know, the coach did not know how hard the hit was. He went back out. He got hit again. The brain trauma was so severe that he lost 5 months of school his junior year of high school. So Ben and Alex decided we're going to solve that problem right at the moment where after you know you've taken a hit, but before you get put back on the field. So they decided to do a new type of mouth guard, which you might be able to see in the bottom right-hand corner there, where they are using a dye capsule that's actually part of the logistics industry, because the logistics industry has already solved this. They know how to detect whether something has been hit or jostled, right? So they're embedding a dye capsule from the logistics industry inside the mouth guard. So if you take a hit with greater than 75 G-force, it changes color. All you have to do is open your mouth. And then the coach knows, don't go back out. Go see the doctor instead, right? It's scoped down, it's a real problem, and they're in their 4th or 5th iteration of this prototype now testing. I have an 11-year-old who plays lacrosse, and I care very much about being a customer for their product. Here's one, a combination from Luddy and Jacobs. Okay, I am not a musician, so you're going to go ask Alon later about this because he'll give you the real story. I'm going to give you the non-music version story of this. Think about Fantasia, Disney's Fantasia. The animators were able to animate what the music would do because they knew what the music would do. But what happens if you're a graduate student and you care deeply about music appreciation and live performance of classical and jazz, where you don't know exactly what the music will do? Well, they came up with a new way to predict what the music will do and do the animations to go with it. So it's an entry point for people to appreciate live music performance so that you can use multiple senses as you're learning to appreciate live music, classical and jazz. Just going to do a quick time check here. Okay. Here's another one. Izzy Branham was a student here at the college, and then he transferred over to IU East Online because his travel schedule talking to investors and customers became so challenging that he needed to do what a lot of professional athletes do and do the online program because they got a lot of traction. Let me tell you why. He teamed up with Dr. Brandon Oberlin, a medical school professor who spent 30 years studying and researching addiction. And with Andrew Nelson, who's a specialist from Luddy in VR technology. So you can see the virtual reality headset that Izzy is getting Drusha to try on there. Here's what happens. If I am undergoing treatment for substance use disorder, the point of failure is when I leave the treatment center and I go home. So I bring the VR headset with me, and what they have done is they've created 2 avatars using my voice and my facial likeness. So AI for voice, AI for facial likeness. And I talk to future me because they age them. And there's 2 of them. One is still struggling with substance use. The other is in recovery. So I talk to 2 future versions of me, recovered, still struggling with addiction. It's working. They have over $5 million in funding from NIH behind this research. And Izzy and Brandon are improving this world because this is not just a Bloomington problem. This is not just an Indiana problem. This is not a US problem. Addiction is a challenge that affects society. And so that is a big problem worth solving. So then we level up because one of our unique assets here at Indiana University is our alumni base of over 800,000 people. That's a brain trust. That is a brain trust that no other university has. So as our students, all 295 of them from last semester, work together to go through that learning journey and solve real problems, they get the opportunity to get up in front of our alumni base. And they pitch. They don't pitch for dollars. They pitch for something, I think, more valuable than dollars, because dollars are just one type of capital, financial capital. But you know what is really valuable when you have a brain trust? Knowledge capital, social capital, the willingness to find the right person in our alumni base who can get you unstuck and get you that specialized knowledge. We have one alum who's sold 4 medical companies, and when Izzy was stuck on a very technical problem, we called him up and we said, would you take a call with this student entrepreneur and help him figure this out? And he did. That type of knowledge and then the social capital of the introductions that that alum would do to others who could help, that's worth way more than a check. So we ask our students to pitch asks, not for money, but for introductions and for specific help. And I'll tell you what, we have some pretty powerful alum in the startup space. It's not just Mark Cuban and his co-founder, Todd Wagner. That's David Crane. He's the CEO of Google Ventures. That's right. Our student entrepreneurs got to ask questions of 6 panelists, including the CEO of Google Ventures. And these asks come along with what we call a micro ask. It's a 1-page executive summary, such as the one Sophie Wong has there. We give those to the panelists in advance. It's just like any other executive summary, but at the bottom, it says who you need an introduction to or what knowledge you need to gain. And what's beautiful is that when we have this brain trust we can tap into, our students can solve really big problems. This one has to do with satellites and the fastest growing market in the satellite industry, CubeSats. Think Starlink or wherever else there's not access to internet. So this is Tyler. He's a PhD student, and he has figured out that if you want to put up a new type of satellite, a Starlink type of satellite, you have a choice between a $20 chip that has no microchip, that has no radiation protection, or the $200,000 chip that SpaceX uses that has all the radiation protection. He has designed a new type of chip that is closer in radiation protection to the $200,000 chip, but closer in price to the $20 chip. Pretty cool, right? And a big industry, a big problem. Think about how we want to rely on these CubeSats to provide internet access in rural areas of our state. So he had a very specific question, and this is the best part. Just 3 months ago, we added a new member of our team. Kaki, would you mind standing up? This is Kaki. Her job is to take these one-page executive summaries and our students and their micro asks and help matchmake with our alumni base. So we go and find the people in our alumni base who have the specific knowledge with silicon chip experience and design that Trevor needs next so that we can facilitate a conversation. And that's what I mean by bespoke connections with our alumni brain trust. And Kaki, we're so glad to have you on board. You can do this yourself. Now, you can either do this by using your phone and the QR code on the screen, or we should have the QR code right here on the front page of the book. So when you open up that front cover over here on this page, there's a QR code. That will take you to our website. And on our website, you yourself will be able to meet some of our student entrepreneurs who pitched at the summit in front of David Crane and Ali Adobani and Baindu Paisley and Dave Lindsay and Amish Shah and other alum. And you will be able to go in and you will be able to see what each of our students need in terms of introductions and what knowledge they are trying to gain next. You'll find it under the tab that says Showcase. You'll know you're there if it looks like the screen on the left. And then you'll be able to toggle to any one of the students who were featured at the showcase, including Trevor, including Sophie. And so I want to say thank you, because we have been doing this now for 2.5 years. And it was really special to be able to take a pause and reflect on what actually made all this possible, starting with finding the students who are solving real problems and then hiring them to help each other. Thank you so much for your time.
Questions.
Great.
And online too.
Okay, I'm happy to entertain questions. How will I know if they're online? Great.
So, since I'm county council, I'm used to doing money. I'm interested to know where the money comes from for this, and then what is your capacity in future years as far as growth?
Great, excellent question. So currently, this is one of the president's priorities. So all of the money that funds us comes from donors, and they're donors that have written checks that are going to discretionary funds for the university leadership to designate. We are 100% funded by donors right now. It is possible that we would go to the state and ask for support, especially as we roll this program out and make it available to our students who are at campuses around the state, but that is still TBD. Oh, and capacity. Currently, we are able to serve about between 300 and 400 students per year with our staffing model. We know that we have demand that considerably exceeds that. So what we do is we think about meeting that demand one student employee at a time. And for each community manager, so student entrepreneur who we can hire to run a section of our incubator, that costs us about $15,000 a year. And if we hire a founder in residence who's a recent alum, anywhere with 1 to 10 years experience, usually starting their own company after graduating, that costs us about $25,000 a year. And for each additional hire, we can serve between 10 and 20 additional students.
Really love what you're doing. Question for you. A lot of times startups, filled with boundless energy, great ideas, and yet they're new organizations and they're started and run by very inexperienced people. Sometimes they develop toxic cultures. So with your young entrepreneurs, they're going to be leading organizations. How do you get the message out? Let's talk about culture, how do men treat women, how, some people can't work until 11 o'clock every night. Do you touch on those things?
I'm so glad you asked this question, because we are creating future leaders and future business owners. So we want them to know how to create good culture. We start with our own culture inside our community. The help each other first ethos is what we lead with. We have a whole cultures poster in terms of this is what we expect when you walk through the door. You need to say hello. And then we refine our culture within our team. And at the top of our agenda, At our weekly meeting, we have our team values and principles, starting with leave it better than you found it, whether it's the table that you were sitting at or the conversation you were in. Assume best intent, because whenever you go into a conversation or a relationship or a transaction with someone, we expect that our students will assume that the other is coming to the table with best intent. And then finally, start curious, because you never know what someone is up against that day. You don't know why they got out of bed or almost didn't get out of bed, but starting curious is really important in terms of leading with empathy. Thank you for that great question.
Julie, so there we go. So it seems there would be an opportunity, and maybe you guys do this, to leverage Kelly School and some of the other schools because they're doing leadership training, et cetera. And so how do you work with, and I guess the entrepreneur school over in Jacobs, how are you all leveraging each other to get the best of the best?
Yeah, great question. Great question. So about 55 to 60% of our community comes from the Kelly School. So we work very closely with their professors, either directly because we are doing a project with one of their classes, such as with Susan Batchelder, and doing work with our entrepreneurial ecosystem. So understanding how to connect all the factors and actors that support entrepreneurs, or with Dr. Karatko over at the Kelly School of Business with his CLAP competition. We will work very closely with them. We sponsor Jacobs Innovation Competition and algorithms, and Alana is so kind as to come over and help us when we need expertise in music innovation. It's a very symbiotic relationship with every school.
A lot of the examples that you've given verge on high tech. You have more mundane items that come through.
Yes. So we are welcoming of all business models. If a student comes in and says, I want to do a car detailing company and I want to get to the point of revenue success where I can cover my tuition, we say, great, we'll work with you on that. Because we think that learning journey and the skill set journey of solving a problem and refining it, validating it, and then having customers be pleased with your solution, we think that applies to all business models. So the car detailing example is a real one that we've worked with.
Julie, would you like to talk about Nick Nahara and potentially share his HO in America tomorrow at the park? That's another good example.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, so along with every type of business model being welcomed, we welcome students from every major, every school. We have 18 innovation interns this summer. They have their demo day tomorrow at the Von Lee, starting around 11:30. So you are welcome to come by the Von Lee if you would like to see these presentations. And at 7 p.m. tomorrow, one of our Jacobs PhD student innovators will be doing a performance at People's Park, right next to the Von Lee. So 7 p.m. tomorrow, there'll be a music performance that is the outcome of his innovation project.
Are there any questions online? Anybody else in the audience?
Right on time. Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
That was amazing. And it's always encouraging to hear wonderful stories about the students and how they're adding value into our world. And certainly in days like today, it's good to hear the goods and the positives that are out there. It gives me hope. And that's what it's all about. So, Julie, in honor of your speech, we will be donating $100 to Wheeler Mission. So thank you for the program. It was very informative. I'd also like to thank all our volunteers who made this program possible today. We could not do it without you. Katie Cernak, greeting. Steve Engel for the guest introductions. You had a mouthful. You did phenomenal. Alon for the speaker introduction and a great speaker at that. Leslie Kutzenka online running Zoom for us. JT Waring for the reflection. Thank you so much. Glenda Murray, the reporting. Thank you for all that you do. And Michael Shermas, as always, the camera and mic operator. And photographer. Did we get Jonas? Oh, there you are. Thank you, Jonas, for taking all the pictures. And then Jill, as always, thank you for helping us as the executive assistant. And Tyler, thank you, as always, for getting the audio up and running without a hitch. Our next meeting will be in the Georgian Room on 7/21. Eddie Rao will be our special guest discussing the South Central Community Action Program, SCAP. So please join us. And for those, as you head out, if you didn't see it yet, the Ryan White sculpture is in the South Lounge. It is phenomenal. Please stop by and see it right by the fireplace. And on that, Tyler, if you would put up the four-way test, and for those of you who are able, please stand. Of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendship? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun?